All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm super excited to be presenting with you today, Guru Conference 2023. Today, we will be talking about mastering email deliverability. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you can stop high-risk emails in real time. You can also do it after the fact, but I want to focus today a little bit on real time so you can get some of the benefits that come along with that. And so with that, let's get started. My name is Brian Minick. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at ZeroBounce. I'm responsible for our support team and our sales team. I've over 15 years experience in tech and marketing and have a lot of knowledge when it comes to email deliverability and the different types of emails that might be out there in the universe. And it's very interesting how much that can vary. So I'm really excited to talk with you guys today. And I hope you find some really good tips and tricks and things that are useful for you in your email marketing endeavors. So with it, a little bit about ZeroBounce. We are the number one email verifier. We're coming up here on 300,000 clients. We have some logos here that I'm showing. These are some pretty large brand names. We have many more that I'm not allowed to show you, but just so you can get a sampling of the types of clients that are using email verification, and that in reality, no one is immune, and everyone really does need this stuff. ZeroBounce is a 4-time Inc. 5000 honoree. It's a big honor and a big thank you to our customers to help us get to that type of growth based on the product that we have. So I'm just excited to share a lot of the experience and knowledge that we've seen as more and more of these brands continue to use our product and evolve. All right. So today we are talking about mastering email deliverability. This is a topic that for me is super important for everybody to be aware of. It's something that is usually an afterthought. It's not something that is always top of mind. Okay. And so what is deliverability? Let's start with that real quick. Deliverability versus delivery. Okay. Same word, different twist, different meaning, totally different meaning. So deliverability is your ability to get into the inbox. Okay. So when you're trying to improve deliverability, you want more emails into the inbox. Okay, a lot of the ESPs, they're using just the word delivered or delivery, delivered rate, whatever it might be. And they're putting up these numbers that look usually very beautiful for you, makes you feel good, like 99%, 99.6% delivered. That is a useless stat. I hate to say it, but it is not something that you should lean on and feel proud of. It is a number you want as high as possible, don't get me wrong, because that means you're delivering emails that are getting off your server and they're getting to another server, but it's not telling you the full story. Okay. Deliverability is about getting into the inbox. Okay. Because ROI is generated in the inbox, not in the spam folder. We've done lots of research. People aren't checking the spam folder, and they're not checking it nearly as much as they used to because the mail servers are getting really good. And so it's just not a place where people are living. So we're going to talk about blocking the risky emails. Some of the simple tweaks that you can do for better inbox placement. Okay, so placing the exact placement of your emails is very important. And we have all these different things to deal with right now. We have inbox, we have the promotions folder for your Gmail users, we have the spam folder, we have potentially quarantines that could be happening, you have blacklists. All of this stuff plays big roles into your deliverability. And it's just very important that you're aware of a lot of the risk that comes with, and it is associated with the different types of emails that are there. So we'll help you today. We'll make sure you get a better and a clear understanding of how to get through that. So getting your emails into the inbox, it has to start somewhere. Where are we going to start? Where I'm going to start this with and kind of put some information for everybody is around sender reputation or sender score. A lot of people kind of have heard of that term. A lot have not. But if you've heard of it, there's another layer of, do you actually understand it? Do you understand how it's built? Do you understand kind of where it comes from? And a sender score, it's not exactly like, I don't want to put it exactly, but I'm trying to make it in something that's layman's terms for everyone. It's kind of like a credit score, but it's something that is built by the ESPs or the ISPs out there, that are receiving your mail, and they kind of score you to understand the legitimacy and how much people like to receive the content that you're sending. The higher your score, the higher your email deliverability. Now, a question that I get often here is, where can I find my sender score? Or is my sender score available? The answer is each place that you send mail to is building a score around you. Okay. So just so you guys are aware, this is not something that's like a badge that you get to bring with you everywhere you go. This is something that is issued to you as you send mail into their platforms. What's going to affect sender score and deliverability, right? So there's different things that can affect it. There's a plethora of things that can affect it, but I'm going to highlight some that are really important. One of them is around the quality of your data. So if you have a very good, high quality email list that you're sending to, and there's engagement on it, things of that nature, you're going to get a great sending score, because what your signals are going to the mail server are saying that people want the content that you're sending to them. And so that's good. That's going to boost your reputation. If you have a low sender score, it's going to push your emails into the spam folder. And you can get low sender scores by sending to people that mark you as spam, by sending content to people that they never signed up for. So you want to follow all best practices. You want to honor unsubscribes, all these different types of things. And one of the bigger things that can definitely put you into a spam folder and ruin your sender score is sending to emails that don't exist, or they're incredibly risky to be sending in the first place. And it's going to affect your email, your campaigns, and ultimately it's going to affect the results of those campaigns. So you want to pay attention to it. You want good quality data. You want emails that are going to the inbox, and you want to send to people that are going to engage with your content. So how do we get rid of these bad emails? There's a ton of different things that are happening out in the web space that I'm seeing. All the way from, and unfortunately, we've probably all dealt with these bots and these fake signups that are coming to our newsletter signups and checkout forms, whatever it might be. We have to do something about this, guys. You cannot just continue to accept it and go, okay, well, whatever. They signed up, I'll just send an email. These are bad email addresses. You don't necessarily want to be sending to them. So when we went through, we did a massive email list decay report in 2023. And we went through, kind of pulled our data. We pulled different clients and got some information from them. And some of the stats that we came up with are honestly concerning, right? These are things that you guys should be aware. This is what's happening out in the email space. 23% of your email list is going to go bad every single year. Okay, 23%. So if you sell or emailing to businesses, these types of emails are going to churn faster. They're going to go bad. People are moving jobs. And there's lots of churn with that type of data. So be aware of it. 23% of that data is probably going bad, okay? There's more types of bad emails that are out there, and a lot of people don't know about them. They're called disposable emails. These are ones that are created simply to basically self-implode. They're meant to be anonymous. You can go to websites, grab an email address very quickly, and then immediately that email address is no longer a marketable contact once they submit it to you, and maybe they just want your coupon or your white paper or whatever it might be. We have found over 5 million unique disposable email addresses. Okay, that's a lot. This is a widely used service, and it's out there, and it's very easy for people to use. Last year, when we went through and validated over 6 billion emails, that's a big number. Only 57% of them were deliverable and safe contacts to use. Okay, only 57% of the data coming to the platform that we see out of 6 billion emails are still considered good and that you can send to it. Okay, that's a big number. And so what about those 43%? What do we do with them? Do I have those on my email? Yes, you do. It is what it's going to come down to. And you have to get visibility into those and who they are. So one way we can do it is, let's make sure that you're validating your entire email list. Okay, it's really important that before you start doing any sort of real-time validation or checking on demand, that you make sure that the data you've submitted or is already in your platform, your CRM, your ESP is good and clean, and you get rid of the bad stuff to begin with, okay? So you want to do this, take your list, put it through a verification system, and get rid of those invalid and risky emails. They're not good for your sending reputation, and plus you're paying to store them, okay? If you have 100,000 emails, I just want to give some context on time. In less than 1 hour, this whole process can be done, and all the results can be returned to you so you can continue on, okay? This isn't something that takes a ton of planning. You move the data, you get it into verification, you take the good results back, and that's what you're going to send your email list to. There's other types of bad data, but I'm not going to get too deep into it today. We don't have enough time. I want to share a case study that we did with Gene over here at Media Shares. Gene was someone that got into email marketing. He got into it a little late. He was collecting data for a long time. He was doing the right things, putting stuff in front of people that encouraged them to get email addresses. And he sent an email campaign because it was kind of something he started to get into. And boom, he got it with a 12% bounce rate. His ESP basically canceled the service, and he didn't know what to do. He came to us. We helped him. We cleaned up that bad data. and he was up and running again. Okay, this is an example of a reactive approach to, wow, I had such a bad list, I didn't know it. He had struggles that came with this. Okay, he got blocked by his ESP, he needed to find a new service. His sending reputation was damaged, so he had to go either repair that or start something fresh. And so there's a lot of kind of negative effects that come with sending to bad data. And this is an example of somebody that was collecting the data over time, never cleaned it up, and just decided to send to it, and let's see what happens. So it's an unconscious thing that sometimes happens, but you got to be aware of the type of bad data that can be on there. So adding a real-time email verification API. What is this? Why is it useful? Why do I want it? And it sounds complicated. You use the word API, Brian. Why? Okay, here's why. An email validation API, or any API in general, is just simply a way to programmatically call a service behind the scenes, okay? Don't overcomplicate it. APIs are really easy to work with, and most anybody who's really working with APIs should be familiar and know how to work with them, okay? So what you're able to do by using a real-time verification API is you're able to get ahead and you're able to be proactive with the emails that are coming into your systems through your collection forms, okay? So whether you're using a checkout process, you're using a pop-up modal window because that's how you guys are collecting emails, or you have a pop-up that's gating your coupon, whatever it might be, you can take the API, hook it up to the email field, and as soon as somebody leaves that email field and either goes to the next tab or submits, it would call our service. That service would come back and give you a result to let you know, is this something that's good or is this something that's potentially risky? Okay, it's not hard to do. Yes, it requires the tech team. Sorry, guys, another request here out of the tech team, but it happens. We need to do it. It's not hard. For ZeroBounce in particular, we have an SDK that any of your software developer teams can grab and easily hook this up to form fields. And basically what this is going to let you do is make sure that the list that you are collecting is only getting good data in the first place. Okay, so it's one way to make sure you stay healthy and the data coming into your platform in the beginning is good and clean. Okay, so this is a proactive approach versus a reactive approach. Let's get into it. What this API is doing is it's checking every new subscriber. So as you are getting submissions on that form, we are going to call an API. It's going to give us an idea of, is this email good or bad? And if it's bad, you can do something about it. And if it's good, you just marry on and continue with the rest of your process. And your customer behind the scene has no idea you even did something like this. But what you are able to do is block some of these risky emails, block the bad ones, block those disposable ones, and get rid of ones that don't even exist, that people are just smashing the keyboard to get past your gate. Okay? It's going to ensure all your leads are good, and it's going to ensure that they're valid and deliverable contacts. This is one of my favorite examples. I love them. Strava, they're someone who uses us and they love us, and we love having them as a client. They are a fitness app for anyone who's not aware, probably the leader in this space, and they are basically collecting emails for people to register and create accounts. And two of the issues that they had was they were getting attacked by bad emails, and secondly, a lot of typos were taking place. If you look on the example that I have here, it's johncarson@gmail.com. You can see there's a typo clearly in the domain. It should have been gmail.com, but this is something that's happening a lot, especially in mobile as well. So when this person goes to submit that form, you can see up here in the top, in the red highlighted box, it says your email address that you provided is invalid, and it's providing the typo fix. This is a direct call to our API to get an idea of, was this email good? No, and we caught a typo. So we're suggesting the fix as part of the API call, and you can present that to your customer to fix the email address that they're putting in. Instantly, we've recovered basically what would have been a bad contact, a bad email, and would have created bounces if you would have accepted this into your platform. So a really good example of typo and domain fixes that we can do if we find that the data is invalid. One more kind of example here is this is just a fake email that we made up. And if you go to submit it and create the account, it blocks you. It says the email address that you entered is invalid. Please double check it to make sure it's okay. This has really mitigated all these bad and just garbage data that's coming into their platform, making sure that every email that they get has an inbox on the other side of it. So really important, want to make sure you guys see it. It's a great example, a live example of someone who's using APIs to get ahead of that game. Next, we have Joanna Wiebe from Copy Hackers, and she is constantly cleaning her data with us. She's constantly talking about how good it is, how keeping it clean is really important. Just wanted to share this. She has bounce rates that are under 0.5%. This is very good. This is what the ESPs want to see. They want to see nice, clean data that's delivering and that you don't want to get on their bad side. So this is a really great way, and a quote kind of from Copy Hackers that kind of attest to that. So I want to thank Joanna for that as well. So let's talk about how you can potentially automate your email validation. Okay. So whatever sending platform you're using, or potentially wherever that data is being stored, you can integrate with that and move the data into a validation process. Okay. So whatever validation provider you pick, it's up to you. Just make sure it's high quality, make sure it's something that you're comfortable with, and make sure that it also has the integration that would support the system that you're using. Okay. So for example, if you're using Salesforce to store all of that data, if you're using MailChimp, HubSpot, any of them, Shopify, whatever it is, you can set up and do a quick integration and basically connect those two apps together. So you would connect Salesforce with ZeroBounce, and every single time your company adds a new email address into Salesforce, whether it's a new contact, a new lead, we would automatically validate that data and produce the result right on the record in Salesforce. Now, I'm just using Salesforce as an example. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of integrations that are potentially available, from WordPress to HubSpot, all of these different tools. And they're going to be really kind of integral to make sure that the emails you're collecting, you can check those in real time and do it quickly before you send out any data to them. Okay. So use integrations to automate it and have every email checked. You can do that again, proactively or reactively. So if you already have all the data, fine, move it into the system, check it, and go ahead and put it back. And so we'll also help you with this. And it's ways that you can make sure that the data that's in the platform is very clean. Okay. So whether you want to do this in bulk, and by bulk, my definition of that is you have a large database already. And what do I do with this large data set, right? So there's usually two data sets, my existing and my net news. Your existing, move it into the platform, do verification, put it back, you're all good. Your net news, you can either do it again, how I just described, or go back and use that API and get ahead of everything and make sure the data that's coming in is nice and clean. So there's many ways you can work with it, and definitely encourage you to use an integration. Make your life simple. It's always easier when you can just connect some dots and hook up integrations. You want to also be checking your emails manually. Okay. So if you are getting a lot of signups or you don't get a lot of signups, you can check them one by one, copy paste. I don't recommend it, but for some people it's there. You want to make sure that you're getting rid of these bad emails that have the ability to affect your sending reputation. And this is going to help you with that great deliverability. So whether you need to check it automated, proactively on a sign-up form, through a file, through copy paste, it doesn't matter. Make sure you're doing it. That's really the important part. Get them out of your list. So if you need to, you can go to ZeroBounce. We offer free verification right on the front of the website, and you can even actually upload a list, and we'll give you a spit out of an analysis of that data. So you can have an idea of maybe a percent that's risky. Is it good? Is it bad? Kind of what's going on there. So I highly encourage anyone, if you've never done this, come in here, put in your email, and then put in fake emails and get an idea as to kind of what the power of this thing can do and how it can help you with your email marketing goals and your data hygiene. It's something that's really crucial. And we did create this kind of free evaluator so that you can get an idea and see the value right in front of your face. So highly encourage you to check it out. Anyone that creates accounts with ZeroBounce, just so you're aware, we do free validations. We have free products that are all over the place. Every single thing we do is about helping you get into the inbox. It is our mission statement and it is our goal. And it should be your goal as an email marketer to get into the inbox. And let's get those campaign performance stats in the best possible place possible. That's where you're going to make your profit. That's going to make your ROI. So let's make sure you're in a good place. And some last tips here. This is something I can't ever let go of. Don't purchase lists. Don't rent data. Do not do any of this stuff where you're adding people to your list without consent. You're asking for some trouble, and you're going to get some issues here. Spam complaints. it's going to really hurt your sending reputation. So I highly encourage you to do the right things, collect data the right way, and email people that want to be emailed by you. Honor all your unsubscribes, remove complainers. These are the people marking you as spam. Remove them from your list. Stop sending email to the people that mark you as spam. They are killing you, and you're not getting any value by continuing to send email to them. Use an inbox tester. Make sure that before you send your campaigns, you have an idea as to where those emails are going. Did they go in the inbox, spam, or where did they end up? It's very important. Make sure that the emails that you're sending to are getting to the proper people and that they're getting to an inbox that is viewed and potentially gets engagement with. It's really important. Boosting sending reputation is the best way that you can increase the performance of your campaign. So let's get you there. It's very important. Lastly, just want to offer it out there for anybody who would like to give it a whirl. You're welcome to validate 5,000 emails on me. Just reach out to our team over here through support or through our email channel. We have a live chat. Just tell them you came from Guru 2023. And with that, I'm going to wrap up here. Thank every single person for attending. Really appreciate it. And I want to thank Guru as well for having me here as a guest speaker for this year. Thank you so much, everybody. Also, we are going to do Q&A. So please, any open questions that you might have, if there's a topic that I moved too fast on, which probably I did, please, by all means, I encourage questions. Go to the Q&A section here, comments, or reach out to us and I'll happily get you a good response for that. So look forward to your questions, everybody. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Bethany Weiss. I'm with Guru Events. We have some questions coming in, but first I just wanted to draw your attention to three quick things. One, please be sure to participate in the poll to the right of your screen. You'll also find a free offer pinned to the chat. And the deck for today's presentation will be available at the bottom of your screen if you scroll down there. Brian's going to be joining us in just a moment. There he is. Hi, Brian. Some great information there, and we have a ton of questions. So
awesome.
Let's just we'll dive in. So the first question is, where do we find our sender score?
Yeah, really good question. So what I would recommend is that people set up a Google Postmaster account. So if you do not have a Google Postmaster account, postmaster.google.com, and you can configure your domain there. And basically you will get an idea of all of the reputation, the spam reputation, the IP domain reputation, and your sender score will be in that. I recommend Google because in my opinion, it is really the one that matters. Okay. And so lots of different Postmaster tools are out there, but Google is always an indicator for me. And so if you're inboxing in Google, that's a very good sign. If you're spam on Google, that's a bad problem and you have to fix it. So postmaster.google.com.
That's great. And that addresses some additional questions that just popped in as well.
Yeah.
So another question that came in, if we share a server with other companies via our marketing software vendor, would this impact our sender score?
Yes, it can. And so shared IP addresses, you're sharing the reputation of that IP address. That is kind of why most people will sell you a dedicated IP. So because then you have the ownership of that IP, all the mail that's going out on behalf of that IP is kind of towards you. But yes, you definitely can have deliverability issues if you are on a bad IP address. So you might send great content, but is the person next to you on that same IP address, are they sending good content? Who knows is actually the truth. So you can look up the IP address on a blacklist monitor and see if it's listed. And if it is, you want to get off. For sure. So if it's not you and you're not the problem, you for sure want to get off of that. So yes, IP address definitely plays a role.
Okay, great. Another question here. Do you keep the contacts in your CRM for the sales team to recover if emails are bouncing, or do you just delete the contact completely?
This is a really good question. So I think I don't think there's a blanket answer. I think this is, it depends. And so if email address is your main and unique identifier for a customer, then yes, you might want to reconsider this. Do I want to keep this contact or do I not want to keep this contact? If email address is a piece of your contact, maybe you have mailing address, phone number, whatever, and you have additional information, what I would probably recommend in that case is tagging or status of some sort that might say something like "Do not mail." Right. So maybe you don't want to email them, but maybe their mailing address is still good, or whatever it might be, phone number. But for me, it kind of depends. I am a bigger fan of classifying, make sure it's very clear. And of course, if the contact is I hate to say the word dead here because I don't know how to say this properly. If the contact is not deliverable, I would not keep that in all of my systems and then have to deal with that one time, because we've all done this, made the mistake and sent to the wrong list or the wrong group. So I would limit my risk here, and I would get rid of them.
Yeah. Okay. There's another question that just came in about how to rapidly improve deliverability. What's the quickest possible way to do this?
Sure. So it depends, because you might have some low hanging fruit that you could do. For example, is DMARC set up properly? Is your mail server configured properly? SPF, DKIM, all of these kind of DNS configurations make a big change, or can make a big impact. So if you don't have any of that set up, I would start right there. That's number one. You have to have all of the right kind of infrastructure and set up configuration to send mail properly. If that's in place, next step is obviously making sure that bad data is gone. You don't want to send to bad contacts. That's just going to plummet your reputation. Next, I would make sure that you're handling abusers. So complainers, abusers, for me, it's the same thing. These are people who mark you as spam. Stop sending more emails to them. It is not a quantity game. It is a quality game. And so stop sending emails to people who are basically going to hurt your reputation. Send them to people who are opening, clicking, and ultimately going through the funnel that you kind of are putting in front of them. And then also, what I see sometimes too is there's not the right balance of marketing versus informative versus promotional. And so I get it. I really get it. From a business point of view, sales runs the business, right? And so without sales, nothing happens. But if every email you send is about sales, you're going to get people that are going to get just frustrated, upset, mark as spam, I've had enough. You have to give people content that they can consume, that they can, trust you with. They want to stay engaged with you. And, so some people need to really kind of shift their thought process on the messaging they're putting to the emails that they're sending out. So that's kind of another piece. And, it could continue, right? It just depends upon where you're having the issues. But I always start with the easiest, work my way through kind of the hardest, and start to segment. That's another big thing. Segment your list, put smaller, detailed, focused pieces of content into a group of people that are going to do something with it. Things of that nature. So again, if I can simplify, always think quality over quantity. That will help boost your sending reputation, because you're focusing now on engagement. Get them to click, get them to open, get them to reply or forward or whatever it might be.
That's great. Now, you mentioned DMARC. We have a couple questions about that. Just simply wanting a little bit more information, and also wondering if the verification tool is the same or similar to DMARC and some others.
Yeah, so DMARC and validation are totally different. However, they do both play a role on deliverability. And so, especially with the new updates that are coming out with Yahoo and Gmail, for anyone who's not familiar, DMARC is really, it's a cybersecurity product. It's a security product for your mail server. And what it's basically doing is it's putting up, you're getting a security team for when mail goes out to make sure that spoofing is not taking place. Okay, so with DMARC comes DKIM and SPF. And if those are aligned and DMARC is set up, basically what's happening is you have a security policy that says, hey, if this email is not signed with my SPF and DKIM, then block it, reject it at the mail server level, because it's not authenticated. It did not come from me as the brand, and I don't want you to deliver that mail and have people get confused. So DMARC is very different. It's very important, and now being enforced. I don't know why it took so long, to be very honest. This should have happened years ago, but I'm glad to see something happening here now. DMARC is not hard to set up. It sounds intimidating. There's a lot of 3-letter and 4-letter words getting thrown in this. Don't get intimidated by it. It's actually, we have a really nice like wizard. You put in your domain, it's going to give you all the inputs that you need to put onto your DNS. You would set it, and that's it. And basically, the mail servers on the end are going to reject mail that was not actually sent by you. And so it kind of really packages a security piece to mail being sent out, which today does not really exist. Like the post office, I can put any return to address I want. This is how you want to think about it. You cannot, they're not verifying that. They're not double checking that. DMARC is something like this. Here's my ID, and here's the return address, and look, it matches. And here it is, and look, here's my face that matches my ID. That is kind of what DMARC is. It's creating a policy that enforces the sender to be authenticated. It's very important.
That's great. We have a lot of questions about different integrations. Do you want to just touch on, in general, the different systems that you integrate with?
Yeah, definitely. So we have quite a few different integrations. We also have an open API if anyone wants to kind of custom build something, which does happen a lot. We are doing things with HubSpot, with Constant Contact, MailChimp. We are doing things with Salesforce. We also have WordPress plugins. I have a Chrome plugin. We have LinkedIn plugins coming, and as well as Zapier. So Zapier is another very powerful tool for kind of non-developers to integrate two systems together. I did see some questions around, I think it was auto close or something of this nature. Yes, you can set it up through that, and it will do a real-time verification for you. So yes, there's many different ways, and Zapier has kind of been our catch-all, I guess you could say, for how do we handle all these tools, because there's so many of them. It's getting crazy to keep up with all the different tools out there. But yeah, one way or another, you can integrate ZeroBounce with pretty much any major tool.
This is great. Well, believe it or not, I think we're out of time. Brian, thank you so much for all this great information. And just a reminder to folks that are watching here, the deck from Brian's presentation today is there at the bottom of the screen if you scroll down. We appreciate everybody joining. And Brian, thank you again for your time. It's been wonderful information.
Thank you. And I'll be in the networking room. So if anyone wants to come have a chat or have some more detailed questions, please, by all means, hop in.
That sounds great. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the show.